Hey guys, our next assignment 3 I believe, is if else. In Scratch it's called if else then. Let's start off with just some ifs. Okay, I'm going to drag this block out, and by itself it does nothing. Okay, and that's same in all programming languages. Ifs by themselves don't do anything. The then is usually omitted or removed in other languages. Sometimes it's curly brackets, sometimes it's a colon. But it's nice that it spells it out in Scratch for us. Okay, let's do some of the most simple things we can. Let's bring in another sprite, like an apple. And I usually like to do some of the most obvious things we can, okay, with this apple. So let's, again, click back on the cat. And I'm going to change the name of the cat. I'm going to click this blue eye and change it from sprite 1 to a better name for a, cat's a bad name. Better name for a cat. Okay, so we got some cat name and that name apple. And right now we have an if blank then. Okay, now the cool thing about Scratch is these Lego blocks. Only certain things can go in this hole. Okay, if I go try to plug in like a roundy block in there, it won't fit. It won't take it. It's putting a square peg in a round hole. That's cool. So I need to find diamond blocks. And you're like, ooh, Minecraft. But sharp cornered edge blocks with pointy ends that look like if you swallowed an alphabet soup made out of them that it would cut your throat up on the way down because they got sharp edges. That's these, right? So we got operators. We got a few of them down here. These are the traditional operators: greater than, less than, equal to, not, and an or. Those are the ones you'll see in Python. Now the ones you see in Scratch that are a lot cooler and a lot more fun are touching blank, touching color, and color blank, touching color, key pressed, those ones. Mouse down, those are good ones, okay? Let's run these real quick. I'm going to click all of them. Remember, when I click a block in Scratch, it runs, or it tries to happen. It glows for a second as it runs. And notice that all these blocks are spitting out false, okay? These are actually spitting out one bit of information. And notice as I click this more, it says true because the mouse is down as I hold it, okay? These can only spit out trues and falses. In the previous unit, we talked about how Scratch has words or letters and numbers that are different. You can't plus words together in Scratch. You can only join them. And you can't join 3 plus 2 and get 5. If you join 3 plus 2, 3 and 2, you don't get 5. You get 32. We'll learn what those are called officially when we start Python, but these are integers or floating point decimal values. These are strings. The words that we use are strings. And the final thing, that variable type that's unique or interesting, is called booleans. These things that are coming out trues and falses, those are spitting out booleans. And a boolean is a single bit. It's a 0 or a 1 only. Numbers are more complicated. They take more bits. Words take other several bits to keep track of a H or a E. We'll talk about that later. But this right here, this true falses, that's a single 0 or 1 or a bit. Okay. Let's go back and do this most basic one, touching color. Okay. Well, touching color blue. Now the question is, that's false. We know it's false, but is what touching? Is who touching color blue? Well, in Scratch, it's Steven. It's the sprite that this script is on, okay? So let's go change this. Let's click the blue. How would I get this to be true? Well, I go find, there's some red. Is Steven, the cat, touching color red? That red? He sure is. Okay, and he's probably touching white and probably touching black too. If this was a gradual change of colors, it'd be harder to find the exact color, but yeah, because there is no exact color. But anyway, is Steven touching color red? Well, that's true. Okay, and let's talk about, now that I can plug this diamond block in there, I know it's true or false. Let's hook this up to spacebar. What the heck? If touching color red, then let's have him say something. Let's get rid of say. He could say yummy or apples or red things. Let's have him instead play meow. Okay. So space, and if you can see it glow, it goes really fast. There it goes. But why did it not play sound meow? Well, it's because touching color red was false. If this condition or boolean after the if is false, then don't do nothing. If this condition is true, then do the thing inside the block, okay? That's just how it works. Now, let's read this out loud in English. If touching color red, then play sound meow. If you're not a a mathy or a logic person, you can at least be an English person and read that out loud, and it just makes sense. If touching color red, sorry, when spacebar is pressed, if touching color red, then play sound meow. How do I make that true? We'll move the cat over, and we get an obnoxious meow sound, okay? Let's go change to a different color. Let's find the black color. That looks like it was true also. And let's go to the next block, okay? We got ifs. Let's go to the next one down, if-else's. These will be more useful for a lot of things we do, and you should follow kind of along with this, and if this is boring for you, you can do something a lot cooler. Let's throw this if away for now. If touching color black, play sound meow, else, let's have him say, nah, I see nothing. Let's actually get rid of touching color black. Let's go say touching sprite. And please note that you can touch the mouse, the edge of the screen, of the scratch screen, or the apple. You can touch those three things. Touching apple is true. Let's throw touching black away, and now it's any part of the apple. Okay. When space, this is getting annoying. Okay, you're probably frustrated and said, let's make a game out of this darn thing. We got a cat and an apple, and everybody's roaring and ready to go. Let's do it. Okay. Let's change this to space crap. Let's go left, right. Let's go left and right. What's going to move the cat right? Boom, boom, boom. Well, if I hit this blue eye, I can see he's got a direction, and he's got an XY position and a rotation style. I'm going to leave most of that alone, but just note that I could rotate the cat. I could also change his XY position. Let's go to the motion blocks, and let's worry about the top ones for just a sec. I could say the right arrow should move the cat 10 steps, and he does. He moves. Yay. And he could be touching the apple, but notice that block's not glowing. You're like, why doesn't he meow? Or why isn't he saying, I see nothing? Well, because this block only runs right now when I click it. And I could hook it up to the green flag, and it would run once when I click the green flag. Let's move him off and click. Okay, touching apple is false now. He doesn't play meow. He does the else part. If I'm touching the apple, play meow. Or else, if I'm not touching the apple, do this part. And in this case, he says, I see nothing. We don't want to hook this up to the green flag. We're going to make this happen more often, like all the time in just a second, and you probably know how to do that, but let's assume you don't. The right arrow pressed, instead of dragging these out again, let's right click and duplicate. What would I do here? Left arrow should make the cat not move 10 steps, but the opposite of 10 steps. Now I can go left and right, and I got a two-dimensional side scroller. There's no scrolling. It's a two-dimensional game. And if we want more stuff, we could hook up and down up to the turn, and if our rotation style is 360 degrees, the cat will turn like this. This is actually better for car games, like race car games or tank games. I'm actually going to get rid of the move steps, and I'm going to switch to, remember I said a second ago, the cat has an XY position. If you forgot what the XY grid looks like, if you don't know what X's and Y's are, you can click this choose backdrop, the first icon here that has a painting of a landscape. You can click other, and here we have an XY grid built in. Okay. Now I'm doing this to remind you that 0, 0 is the middle of the XY grid, and I know most of you know this, but I kind of wish your teachers had taught you the XY grid using Scratch. I think that's a better way to learn it. But for those of you that don't know it, you're going to learn it right now. You can see that this direction, the X is getting bigger. Oh gosh, this is such a much better way to learn the XY grid. If I go this way, the X is getting smaller. When it goes past 0, where's the X going to go? It's going to go negative. I'm looking at these numbers down here, okay, and this is actually my mouse position. And now let's actually open this and we'll see Steven's position. There we go. He's at close to 0, 0 is in the middle. If I go up, which number is going to change? Oh, Y is getting bigger. And you can see the max numbers up here. If anything bigger than 180, he's actually going to snap back. Like he can't go off the screen and still show up. So down, I'm getting negative Y. And this is quadrant 3 is both negative numbers, negative X's and negative Y's, you see down here. Anyway, that's a whole different subject. You don't need to know all that, but what you do need to know is what left and right arrows should do. Should they change or set that kitty cat's X and Y values, okay? Let's go try the wrong thing, which grammar always likes to do. Right arrow should go 10. And now I'm going to hit right arrow, and he set his X to 10, and every time I hit X, he teleports or jumps to exactly 10. So it wasn't set 10. It should be change it by 10, and this can grow every time. He goes 10, 20, 30, 40. It looks like it's growing by 10 every time. That's cool. What should left arrow do? Or duplicate it. It should change X by opposite of 10, negative 10. And now he can go both ways, and you should see a pattern here. Try to finish it off. Right and left are taken. Let's go up arrow. Some people will do this. They will have up arrow, change y by 10, and down arrow, change y by 10, and then they'll start, up arrow, change y by negative 10. They'll forget something to do something, and they'll hit up arrow, and they're like, Mr. Grammar, that cat's not moving. I push the up arrow, and it changes y by 10. But at the same time, it changes it by negative 10. What's 10 minus 10? Well, it's 0. Okay, these are equal and opposite actions, and they cancel the movement out. So this should be the down arrow that changes it by 10. Now I got a two-dimensional game where the cat can move anywhere, and that's a little more fun than what we were doing, okay? So the movement, I'm going to hit right-click and clean up. It's going to put all the blocks in one place. This is the one I care about, okay? The movement is just secondary. And you're like, this is the worst game ever. If the cat has to avoid a stationary evil apple. And let's, you know what? Let's get this rolling. I could click once, play. The cat says, I see nothing for 2 seconds, and then this block is done. It's not glowing anymore. There's a way to get it to keep going, keep checking. And that's under the control panel. It's the third block down. I could have this repeat a certain amount of times, but that's kind of silly. Let's just go forever. Now, forever is something that does not work well in Python, at least when you're a beginner. To have several things happening forever at once, in Python you need to learn about a thing called multi-threading. Scratch has multiple threads built in. They're free. And it can do lots of things. It can check all these blocks at once, where Python can't. Okay, so just feel fortunate that you have this forever that can run at the same time as 5 other forevers, and you don't have to babysit it. It just works. But let's pull this apart. If I run this forever by itself, it's glowing. It runs until you hit stop, or actually you can click it again, I think, to stop. But yeah, if I plug this in and hit play, it's not running because it's not hooked up to the play button. Now if I hit play, the cat's going to forever do whatever I have in there. I could have him forever say play meow. I could have him forever say hi, but those things aren't fun. Let's have him forever check if he's touching the apple, and if he is, play meow, and if not, say nothing, okay? So I see nothing, I see nothing, I see nothing. And he's actually said for 2 seconds, right? 2 and 1,000, 2. And now he goes. Okay, and you're like, I don't like him meowing that long. We could put a little wait in here and have him do the whole meow. Or play until done. Let's do that. Play sound until done. That's a better block. Okay. So there we've got an if-else with our cat. Let's finish this off and make a game. Let's make a game with good things and bad things, okay? The good thing will be the apple. It'll give you health, and let's make it move away from the cat, okay? Or just move around randomly. So the apple, we're going to click on the apple. When the game starts, we're going to have it move steps. The cool thing about move steps is it's easier to understand than XY, and we can just have it forever move steps. What's it going to do when it forever moves 10 steps? Well, it's going to run to the wall and sit there, okay? Now, I could have it move and turn or something like that, and it would spin in circles. But that's not good enough. Let's have it move and bounce off edges. That's the bottom one here. Move 10 steps if you're on the edge, then bounce. Now, the reason this works, and how do I slow it down? How do I make the apple move less fast? Well, more fast would be to increase this number. Move 20 steps every time this runs, every frame of Scratch, every tick. Boom, 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 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. If I want to slow it down, I put a smaller number here, like 2, and then boom, boom, boom. And the cat should not cry when the apple touches him. That's silly, but anyway. Move 2 steps if on edge, bounce. One thing you might want to do is open up the apple and give it a different direction. If you just have it at 90, it'll just go side to side every time. You could also have it turn as it goes or something. Let's try that. It'll move in arcs. No, it turns too fast. Well, it needs to move faster, 20. There we go. And now it kind of moves in arcs, bouncing off the wall and stuff, which is kind of cool. Anyway, anything you want. I don't like that turning. I'm actually going to leave it the way it is. That's good for now. Okay. The apple is good. Let's make a new sprite, something evil, something horrible, something beetleish, bearish, breakdancers. I don't know. Bear. Let's have the bear. He's kind of big. That's bad. Let's shrink him down with the grow and shrink tool. Boom, 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 boom. You get smaller. And now he's smaller than the cat. I'm going to shrink the cat too. And then the apple. What the heck? Let's shrink everything. And I'm shrinking with this. You can also go to looks and change the size with these size buttons. You could have the cat grow when he's touching the apple or whatever, or shrink when he's touching the bear or whatever. But let's do this. If touching, okay, sees nothing. If touching the bear, then he says meow. Then he's hurt. Okay, and he's not gonna say I see nothing. Let's just have him. Let's just leave that else empty. Else do nothing. And notice this is just gonna keep running and running and running. Now let's duplicate this, and if touching the apple, he should, I don't like these sounds. Let's get rid of the sounds. Let's go make some variables. We made variables before. I want to show you two of the most common variables in all of computer gamedom. One of them, and let me pause for a second. If you've ever played a video game, you know these two variables. The most common one is probably health, and for all sprites, leave it alone. I'm gonna make another variable called score. If I touch the bear, I'm going to lose health. If I touch the apple, I'm going to get score. And you can make any combination, right? He could be chasing a third thing that gives him points, like a monster or a little rabbit. What do cats want? Toys. He's chasing the ball. He gets points. If he touches the bear, he loses health. If he touches the apple, he gets health. The apple can hide when he touches them. All kinds of things. Your sky's the limit. But I want to keep this a little bit simple so we can finish this anytime soon. How long we've been going? 16 minutes. Let's wrap this up. If touching the bear, meow like you're hurt. And what else should happen? Should I set the score or change the score? Remember what set does? That puts it as an exact number, and that's bad. I want it to change the score. This should hurt his score. So it shouldn't go positive. It should go negative. And what does the apple do? That's going to change the score by positive. Okay? And he could play a sound, meow or whatever. Let's get rid of the meow sound. And these are just ifs, right? There's not even an else there. Like, I should just be using if blocks, but whatever. Let's hit play. Bear's not moving. The apple's running around, and every time the apple hits the cat, he gets some points. Oh, I'm trying to stand. There we go. Flew through me and I got some points. I guess I should be moving around. Let's make the bear chase him, okay? Now, you could do the same script on the bear. One cool thing about Scratch is you can drag a block over onto another sprite, and it copies it. So here we got the bear. And like I told you before, the bear is just going to bounce off the walls. I could give the bear a random direction, point it a little bit differently. I'll go diagonals now. But notice these are actually 45, negative 45, 135. These are always the same angles. He's actually got a pattern here that's kind of boring. So instead of moving off the edge and bounce, let's leave move there. And I'm actually, since X's and Y's are a little bit harder to do for bad guys, let's keep him with move, and instead of turning randomly, let's have him point towards something. How do I make the bear always chase the cat? Well, same way you point towards something you want and move. That's how your pathfinding works. Turn toward the candy bar and move. And if the candy bar disappears or runs away from you, turn toward it again and move. Okay? Forever. And this will be the most basic AI you can think of. Let's slow that darn apple down to. Who put it at 20? Let's put it at 2. Okay, so here I got a bear chasing me, and my score is negative 140, 150, 160. Let's get away from the bear. I can move faster. I can move at 10, and the bear can move at 3, I think. But I can't sit still for too long, or he gets up, catches up with me eventually. I can go sit on the apple for a sec, get some positive points. That's good enough. If you want the bear to not hurt you so quickly, how would you make it so it doesn't go -1, -1, same way you did before. You put a weight in there, okay? Hurt my health and then wait for a second, as long as you think's appropriate before you can hurt me again. Same thing with the apple. I get 1 point or whatever. Now, this game doesn't have an end. I'm not going to worry about that. All I wanted you to know is that if-else is pretty cool. And these forever loops, they're powerful stuff, very useful in Scratch. We'll talk more about loops later, but it was the best way to do this if-else stuff, okay? You know what? If touching the bear... Let's do this. Oh yeah, what the hell? I didn't even use health. Okay, bear hurts my health. Apple helps my score. And let's say if the bear's not touching me, I could increase my health every time the bear's not touching me. Well, that's good enough. I wanted to do something with the else here. I could say Nyanya, right? Let's try that. Cat says Nyanya. And now as long as the bear's not touching me, I'm saying yeah and yeah. The second the bear touches me, ooh, that's bad. Oh, he says it forever. Let's go say it. The problem with this say yeah is he's going to do it real quick. I'm just double clicking it. Oh gosh, bear. Yeah, 1/1000. See, and then he says it 1/1000, 2/1000, and now he stops. So we could say this to a really small amount. Yeah, and as long as I'm away from the bear, well, he'll say it for 0.1 second. Then it flashes, so that's kind of dumb. Anyway, a lot of uses for if-else's. That's a good start, and we'll stop.